Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Joy Hatchett, and I am the Associate Commissioner for the Consumer Education and Advocacy Unit at the Maryland Insurance Administration. And we are here today, and I'm joined by a number of members of the Maryland Insurance Administration, including people from my unit, the CEAU, as well as our communications department. And we are here today to try to give you some tips and some pointers on how to deal with and handle damage as a result of storm. Many of you may have had impacts from the severe weather that we had at the beginning of the week, but this discussion is going to apply to any time that you have property and casualty damage as a result of any type of disaster or other storm. And just remember that a disaster can be something that occurs statewide, or it can be something that's specific only to your property. For example, a fire. So many of the tips that we're going to review today are applicable to any property and casualty claim. So what we'll do today is there will be a brief quote unquote presentation at the beginning where I'm going to go over some general tips. And then if people have general questions about property and casualty claims, there'll be an opportunity for you to ask those. And since we have a relatively small crowd, if you have a particular question, what we'll probably do is allow you to raise your hand and ask that question. We'll just take you off of mute. And then once that portion is over, you will have the opportunity to go into a breakout room and speak one-on-one with a member of my team. They're specialists and they handle property and casualty cases all of the time. So they can answer your specific questions. And what the difference is, the questions that I'm going to be taking right after I give the presentation will be very general, but we don't want to talk about individual consumer questions in front of the entire audience. So you will have the opportunity to present your specific question to a specialist, and they'll be able to assist you one-on-one. Now, as you saw, this particular presentation is being recorded. So if you have a friend, a family member, or someone else that you would like to share this presentation with, we're going to post it to our website along with the slide presentation so that if someone missed it, they can see it at another opportunity. And then always, if you have questions after this particular event, there is a 1-800 phone number that you can call and you can speak with many members of our team and they can answer your specific question. And that phone number is 1-800-492-6116. Once again, 1-800-492-6116. So we're going to get started with the presentation. Craig, if you wouldn't mind bringing up the slides. Great. So as I said, what we're doing today is a virtual disaster center, and it's going to give you some general tips and some guidelines that you can follow and think about anytime you have a claim. Next slide, please. All right. So if you have property damage, one of the first things you need to do is call your insurance producer, and that's all really your insurance agent or your insurance company as soon as possible in order to report the damage. And why is that so important? Because what you want to make sure of is that the insurance company is aware of the claim, and you have to give them the opportunity to come out and review the damage before you make any other permanent repairs. So let's say you had damage on Monday and you wait a couple of weeks before you contact your insurance company. That may be a basis for them to say, well, that damage that you're claiming wasn't caused by Monday's storm. So it's really important that you contact your insurance producer agent or your insurance company as soon as possible. Also, when whoever you contact at the insurance company, you want to make sure that you keep a record of specifically who you spoke with. Write down the person's name, their phone number. Also, it's anyone that you talk to, even if it's like a contractor or an insurance adjuster. Keep a record. What we tell people to do sometimes is basically get a little notebook. And in that notebook, you write down all of the contacts that you've made so you can keep an accurate record of those. And I can't tell you how many times that the insurance company, you'll need to present that record or you'll need to refer back to that record yourself. Now, the other thing is when you're calling the insurance company, they're going to ask you questions. They're going to ask you, how did the damage occur? When did it occur? What was damaged? So you need to be ready to answer those questions. Now, in this PowerPoint presentation, you see links to documents. Click on those links, and that'll give you even more information to help you better understand the process. What I'm doing right now is just giving you a very brief overview, but we've got much more information on our website at each of these links. And as I indicated, this presentation will be available on our website so you can refer back to it and get all the information to help you along the process. But also, if you have questions about the process, give us a call, 1-800-492-6116. Next slide, please. So when you're contacting your insurance company, your agent, or you're talking to representatives of the insurance company, make sure that you give them a correct phone number that you can be reached at. So let's say your home is damaged to the extent that you're not able to stay there, then don't give them a home phone number. Give them a cell phone number or the number of a friend or family member where they can reach you. We frequently hear from consumers, well, the insurance company's not calling me. Well, when we reach out to the insurance company and say, well, why aren't you contacting the consumer? What they'll say to us is, well, we use the number that they had listed, only to find out later that that's not the accurate number. The other thing is, on some of these damages, the mailbox or the street number that's on your home it has been removed, either blown off by the wind or something else. And so it's not clear what the street address is. So make sure that there's some type of sign in the front of your property where it's clear what your street address is. The other thing is the insurance companies, not always, but most of the time, will be sending an adjuster to your home. If at all possible, when that adjuster comes to visit, you should be there at the same time so you can actually point out, so there's damage here in this room, or look at this side of the house, look at this fence. Being there, help walking the adjuster through where the damage is, will be an opportunity for you to make sure that nothing is missed. And if you have already hired a contractor, a great thing to do is have the contractor there with the adjuster so the two of them can walk through the property and see where all of the damage is. Next slide, please. One of the things that we encourage people to do is to get multiple bids from multiple contractors so you can compare them. Now, this is not necessarily always going to be a possibility. Where you're in a community where there have been multiple damaged properties, you may only have access to one or two contractors, so you may not be able to get multiple bids. But if you can, please try to do that. Also, one of the things that you need to understand is what your deductible is, and making sure you understand that the contractors are not allowed to waive a deductible or to promise you any type of rebate for your deductible. That, in fact, is illegal here in the state of Maryland. So if you end up in a circumstance where that becomes an issue, contact us. Once again, that phone number, 1-800-492-6116. And the last bullet on this particular slide, sometimes because of the circumstances, you may need to try to get an advance payment from your insurance company. Now, that's not something that they're required to do, but frequently insurance companies are willing to do that. So speak with your insurance company about that and see if that's an option for you. Next slide, please. Related to that, so let's say because of the damage to your home, you're not able to live there. Now, this is not just you don't want to live there, you're truly not able to live there. If that's the case, then under most policies, there's something called additional living expenses. And most insurance companies will provide you a payment for those, but there are specific rules as to what is and isn't included. So you need to have a clear understanding of with your insurance company of exactly what's included. And then the insurance company is going to want you to provide them with receipts for those costs. So once again, remember that little notebook? You should have a pocket in that notebook so that you can keep all of your receipts and present those to the insurance company. Now, one of the things that I hate to say, but frequently we see after major damages, something called price gouging. And that's illegal here in Maryland. And so you'll see all of a sudden the cost of business, building materials, and some of the necessities have just, the prices have gone through the roof. If you believe that there are businesses that are involved in price gouging, reach out to the Office of the Attorney General or the Maryland Department of Labor, and they will take a look at that. Next slide, please. So here are some additional places that you can go on our website to get you information to help you with the process. So just click on these particular links and it sort of walks you through the types of things that you can expect and the kinds of questions and documentation that you will need as you're going through the repair process. Next slide. And then just here's some more resources. And then that all important number, 1-800-492-6116. And I think I've got one more slide of resources. And that's all that I have as a part of this presentation. So does anyone have any general questions before we open up the breakout rooms? And if you do, if you could raise your hand and we will take you off of mute. Okay, I'm not seeing any general questions. So if you would like a breakout room, if you could raise your hand and we will put you in a breakout room.